Hello, and welcome to Renew, a show about Mississippi State University's College of Forest resources. We promote and sustain and enable the conservation, management, and use of our natural resources. I'm your host, Leslie Berger. Today we're talking about study abroad, an opportunity for students to travel internationally and to get new experiences in new places. I have a special guest today. This guest represents an international program that we have going on at Mississippi State, looking at research of wildlife in Africa. And my other real guest today, Isabella Durham, got the opportunity to participate with Dr. Jerry Ballant from the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture in going to Tanzania. So Izzy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And tell me about your trip. What a chance of a lifetime.
It really was. I wasn't even expecting to go on it, wasn't planning on applying to study abroad, but I just looked at it and it looked absolutely incredible and I knew I had to go on it. It was just kind of offered an opportunity that I knew I'd never be able to get again.
Right.
So.
Well, you're from a small town relatively, from Prattville, Alabama. Mm-hmm. What gave you the courage to kind of break out of your comfort zone and do something so very different?
I've always been like that very outspoken, outgoing person, and then being from a small town like Prattville and never having really traveled when I was younger, but coming from a military background where my dad traveled everywhere, I really wanted to have that experience for myself. Ever since I was little, I knew study abroad was something I had to do. And so I didn't expect it to be this early in my college career, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right. So what would you say was your most memorable experience in that whole trip?
Probably the most memorable was whenever we actually were able to go on a lion immobilization. But in complete honesty, just being able to stay in the park and live and have animals walking in our backyard and just going out and sitting on the porch at night. Like, we had a giraffe walk up and eat from one of the trees in our backyard, and just that experience in itself was unlike any other.
Okay. So in this picture that's being shown here on the screen, is that in the park that you were visiting?
Well, that was actually in the Ngorongoro Conservation Park. So we took a trip from Serengeti to Ngorongoro, and it's kind of like a crater in the ground. It's a natural crater, and so we had to go down into it, and there were different animals. There were lions, of course. We were able to see some rhinos, so it was like its own little world in a park. So it was really interesting.
Right. So what other parks did you visit besides Serengeti and this one?
Those were the two that we mainly visited. We spent a majority of our time in the Serengeti, like looking at the lions and following them throughout and looking for prides, but that wasn't just another one that we were able to visit.
Right. So I understand that you are also an undergraduate researcher in the College of Forest Resources. So how did this opportunity to work side by side with these individuals that you see in this picture, how do you feel like that helped strengthen your research experience?
I feel like, well, first off, it put me out of my comfort zone. Like, I am a big cat lover, but I still didn't know that much about lions. But being able to go and experience that, I realized that I can gain that knowledge, and it is something accessible to me. And although I've gone from lions to flies, I can apply the same thing. I'm able to figure out what interests me and pursue that, and then further expand on my research knowledge and information that way.
So this sounds like something you would recommend to students if they have this opportunity to work side by side with a faculty member. They should pursue this?
Oh, definitely. I'm also a road runner for the college, so I help with student recruitment, and every single tour that I give, I advocate study abroad. It's just an incredible opportunity that once you leave college, yes, you'll be able to travel, but not all people can. And this is just one experience that puts you out of your comfort zone, gets you that cultural diversity that so many grad schools are looking for, and it just really helps further your career and just the experience itself.
Okay. What would you say to those students that might want to be able to have this, but they're put off perhaps by just the expense that's associated with that? Because I know this can be an expensive proposition. Are there opportunities for support from the university at large? I mean, how are you able to be able to swing just some of the financial, without getting into personal stuff? How were you able to swing some of those personal expenses?
Well, we have a great Office of Study Abroad on campus, and definitely you can go and talk to them, and they will do whatever in their power to help fund your study abroad. Also, in the Honors College, they help with the funding as well. So if you really want to go on a trip, and if you search for those different opportunities and fill out all of the scholarships as much as you don't want to,
Right.
it's definitely possible to find that funding that'll help you for that.
Well, I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about the research that you did. We're going to take a little break and come back, and we'll learn more about it later.
Alrighty, thank you.
It's a simple idea. Knowledge that transforms lives shouldn't be limited to those on a campus, but extended to any and all who want or need it, wherever they are. At Mississippi State University, we've been making that possible for more than 100 years through the MSU Extension Service. What began as an effort to extend the latest research to farmers has become something much more. Today, we're helping Mississippians from all walks of life, giving them the tools they need to build a brighter future. We're sparking the imagination of students around the state and inspiring the next generation of doctors. We're helping rural communities find their way to the internet and connect to the world at large. And we're teaching families how to lead healthier lives in ways both big and small. MSU is standing firm in its commitment to that one simple idea: extend the knowledge that transforms lives wherever they are. It's hard to fathom. By the year 2050, Earth will be home to 3 billion more people than today. And with rising populations and dwindling resources, one of the most pressing questions is a stark one. How will we feed everyone? At Mississippi State University, we're preparing a meal table where there's a seat for all of us. As one of the nation's leading research universities, our scientists are deploying technology to enhance crop production, developing vaccines to protect aquaculture, working to boost water resources here at home and in communities around the globe. And by partnering with the League of International Universities and the United Nations, we're guaranteeing that global food security is a priority for years to come. As our world grows, so do the challenges. But when it comes to how we will feed everyone, rest assured, Mississippi State has all options on the table.
Welcome back to Renew. We've been visiting with undergraduate Isabella Durham, a student in the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture. She's been telling us about her study abroad program that she did this summer in Tanzania. So, Isabella,
Yes.
what was the purpose of this research project that took you to Tanzania in the first place?
Well, Dr. Ballant was very, very interested in looking at the population distribution and movement of the lions in Tanzania Park, as well as identifying them. So during the time there, since we were considered researchers and not tourists, we were allowed to off-road, go off the made trails for the tourists, and follow the lions that we saw. So we were able to name different prides. We were able to identify them, which for lions, their whisker spots is exactly like fingerprints on a human.
Wow.
Like no lion has the exact same, but you need to get both sides. And one of the most memorable things from that trip is I was actually able to help identify one because I was the only one who got a side of the lion's face. And it let us know that we found a new one. So that was really, really interesting.
Right.
So we really just followed them. We had to get pictures of all of the ones that we saw, and we did night calls some nights. So we would go out in the Land Rovers once the sun set, go out in an open part in the park, and we would have speakers, and we'd give animal calls. There was a lioness, there was a distress call like from prey, and then there was hyenas laughing. And so that combination would draw lions to us, and that was an incredible experience in itself as well.
So you were using photography to take pictures of the animals so that you could then later identify them, or were you able to identify them in the field and recognize that you had new individuals?
We would take the pictures and then bring them back to the house we were staying in. And then actually Stan, who is the guy who lives in Tanzania, who works with Dr. Ballant, had cards with all of the identification characteristics of each lion, whether it be the whisker spots or a cut in the ear or like a very significant obvious trait. So we would take the pictures and then bring them back and identify them that way.
Okay. So from a conservation standpoint, how is the work that Dr. Ballant is doing there help with conservation of lions globally?
Well, actually, the population of lions has dwindled significantly from where it used to be. Like, it used to be able to spread all over Africa and all throughout Asia, and it's actually dwindled to just a small part in Africa. So being able to look at their movement and the distribution and where they're going to versus where they're not, and analyzing why, will be able to help further our conservation of them.
So you are in our pre-vet program, so you are aspiring to go on to vet school and presumably be a veterinarian. From past conversations, you have mentioned that you would like to do some international veterinary work. So how does this opportunity help you achieve that long-range goal?
Well, this opportunity is actually what made me have that desire. I knew I wanted to be a vet. I knew I wanted to work with wildlife. But this experience in itself made me realize that I wanted to go out. I wanted to go abroad, overseas, and combine the knowledge that I learned in vet school with the knowledge that other vets abroad have, because of course our schooling is not going to be the same. And so this experience has let me realize that passion of mine. And plus I fell in love with the language. Just hearing the people talk. I have my own little makeshift dictionary in my room at home. So just that in itself made me realize that this is what I want to do, and having that experience makes it possible.
So if a student was thinking about study abroad and they came to you because they knew that this was something you had participated in, what would you tell them?
I tell them to go out and find a study abroad opportunity if they were really interested. I actually was able to give a talk in front of a freshman class in wildlife, fisheries, and aquaculture, and I had a lot of people come up to me afterward asking me about my trip and what it was like. So I was able to tell them, I gave them different opportunities that I heard of. I gave them my contact information, the contact information of Dr. Ballant, and told them to really pursue it if it's something they really want to do.
Right. So how many students went on this particular trip? There's a photo of you all together under a bridge, and so was that just the 3 students that went this time?
It was just the 3 of us. It was me, I was still a freshman, and 2 seniors. So it was a little unnerving for me at the beginning. I was kind of worried, as was my father, clearly, but it was unlike any other. So.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us today, Isabella. And I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us and to let us know more about study abroad. I hope that you all have enjoyed learning more about the College of Forest resources and the opportunities that we have for undergraduates. I hope that you will join us again for the future. And in the meantime, please get outside and enjoy the beautiful natural resources that we have all around us. I've been your host, Leslie Berger, and thank you.